Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing Harry's recent court settlement, slaying of dragons. Didn't see any of those. Maybe somebody else did and I missed it, because that's possible. It's not about the money. It's about the principle. I'm fighting for the principle. Yeah, not sure what happened to that either. Yeah, let's get into what has gone on. Is this a win or is this not? So if you want to join me in this video, my name is Ems. I'm a qualified UK therapist and I give you tips and tools around body language and behaviour, what is kind of going on in the world of, at the moment, Harry and Meghan, because they are the gift that keeps on giving. And so I use that knowledge to break down what is kind of going on. And so these are the type of videos for you where we speak the truth here. We don't do clickbait, and I try and bring as much evidence to you as possible, because in the world of the mainstream media, there are just too many lies, let's be honest. So yeah, come along for the ride. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you've enjoyed it. So grab your cuppa, sit back and relax, and let's dive right in. I would just like, for 1 minute, for Harry and Meghan just to stop doing new things so I can catch up on some of the older things. I think I really do need to say, coming up in the next video is going to be, because they end up doing something else, and so I have to let that one go to keep up with the mainstream news. So yes, Harry's court case. As soon as I saw, well, I mean, look, I have my thoughts and theories on this anyway, in regards to, I always have believed this was about the money. I've always believed this was him throwing his toys out of the pram because he believed he deserved more than William. And I think that this is exactly what's happened. I also think as well that there was going to be some things that were coming out that Harry didn't want public, and so I'm going to look into that a little bit more in a minute. So Harry obviously is in the mainstream news that he has settled his court case. You remember when he was talking about slaying dragons, and I do wonder if that was a dig at his brother, because we all know his brother and sister-in-law are the Prince and Princess of Wales. It just seemed a very weird reference to me. So I do think that was a dig at his brother, the slaying of dragons, because I don't know if many of you know, but the Welsh flag has a dragon on it, and I'll put a picture up here. So I think that that was a veiled dig at his brother. So I'm sure that most of you know, but just to recap, so this was against the Rupert Murdoch British tabloid. So Harry obviously talked about he was hacked, and him and Meghan were just harassed and hacked, and I'm sorry, but my opinion of, I'm not saying that things didn't happen with Harry. I'm sure they did. I mean, we know that there was some very unscrupulous things going on around the time. I mean, his brother and sister-in-law were hacked way more than Harry. But yeah, Harry doesn't mention that. His father as well. There was phone conversations that were leaked between him and Camilla. There was lots of things that were going on around the time. And is that right? No, of course it's not. If I was hacked, I would be just absolutely enraged. I think it's a terrible invasion of privacy. So for that part, I'm just going to give Harry this little bit, I can understand that this would be something that he has a right to be upset about. In regards to his mum also. But, and that is where it ends for me, because I do not ever believe this was really about the principle of just getting this done publicly and being stopped. Because if that was the case, then when William settled, he would have done the same thing, and then it would have been put to bed. And he hasn't done anything since, right? So all of a sudden he meets up with Elton John, him and Meghan. And apparently it was through Elton John that gave Harry the, actually, yes, we could sue the newspapers and we could get some money. Because I do absolutely believe, and I might be wrong here, and I might be probably the only one that thinks it, but I believe this was always only about two things. One, money, and getting more than William. I think he was annoyed that William got, even though William donated it to Invictus, right? Even though William donated his share, or a huge, let's just say, or a huge chunk of the amount, even maybe let's say all of it, to Invictus to help Harry get Invictus off the ground. That doesn't matter to Harry. The fact is that his brother got more than him because he is a child. And of course, so when he's been going all through this, I think that Meghan was probably there in the background going, oh yeah, that's a great idea. We could get some serious money out of this. I'm just hypothetically here because obviously I don't know. But what I do know is that there was an article in the paper, which was part of the court case, where the judge said to Harry, and I'm going to put this up here so you can see it, and I'll highlight the bit. The judge said to Harry, I don't see any evidence of phone hacking. Do you have any evidence? And Harry says, no. So the judge kind of goes, so you think this has happened? So, you kind of, so, why are you here kind of thing? And in Harry's own words, it's, well, it must have. It has to have happened. I think it's happened because they knew some things that they couldn't possibly have known. And then another point is the judge also mentions about that, as it Chelsea Davy had a couple of friends, and he said, do you know that they have been talking to journalists or the press? And Harry goes, no, I don't think that's true. So he doesn't actually know, because what it seemed to be more about was the fact that there was some information that came out around his relationship with Chelsea Davy, and he states that he believes that was what caused the breakup of their relationship. And that's interesting to me, because even though Meghan has been briefly mentioned, his focus was really more about Chelsea Davy. And I just wonder if he still has this residual regret of their relationship ending. I mean, you've only got to, like I say, to look at photographs of the way he was with Chelsea. He looked happy. He looked happy. Now, I'm not saying that there were moments when he wasn't. I'm sure there were. But for the most part, what we see is that he looks different, definitely different in the way he is with Meghan. Let's be honest. And I think that he blames the press, and this could explain where a lot of this anger has come from, because I don't believe it's to do with his mum. I think he's used that because he can't say this is about Chelsea, because that would look weird, and also I imagine Meghan would hit the roof. So he can't say that publicly. So what he can do is use his mother's death, which is what I absolutely believe he's done. He's used his mother's death to garner traction with this. But I actually do think that it's more about the press intrusion into his life with Chelsea. And he says that some things had come out, and I think that they were things that perhaps he didn't want, because I think one of them was it was to do with him being unfaithful or something along those lines, and he didn't want that obviously being made public. And I think this is where a lot of this anger has come from. And I do feel strongly that this is where all of this stems from. Harry's anger with the press is not down to his mum. I mean, look, I'm sure that he has feelings on that, but it's weird that he attacks the British press when it was actually the French paparazzi that were responsible to a degree, or part of what happened with his mum. Obviously, along with not wearing a seatbelt, driver being under the influence, and speeding. And that's factually out there. his anger with the British press seems really quite bizarre, given the fact that around that time, in the sort of late 1990s, early 2000, there was a lot of paparazzi. And were they horrendous? Yes. I mean, you've only got to look at the way they hounded Princess Diana, Princess Catherine even, and the way that they've behaved has towards even other celebrities have been really pretty vile. So I don't blame them for being angry at all. But that isn't the same anymore. Over here in the UK, it's changed a lot. And so Harry's anger just seems very bizarre to me, and I do feel it is down to the negative publicity. And then that tracks with in my next video where I'm going to be talking about Meta. See, I've done it. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about Meta, but I am. And to me, that tracks. This is really what I feel all of this is about. They are using what little influence they now have to censor what they class as hate speech, but it isn't. And like I say, I'm going to get into that in another video. So Harry, of course, has gone on and talked about that he's going to slay dragons. This is not about the money. I think at one point he says, during a conversation with New York Times, that the other claimants had to settle, and he doesn't, so to speak. They were forced to settle. But here we have Harry settling. So which is it, Harry? You were forced to settle? In which case, why? Or you wanted to settle, which is probably, I think it might be a little bit of both. Apparently in the UK, if a claimant rejects an out-of-court settlement, they risk a huge financial burden even if they win. So I wonder if, because there has been an apology, albeit that they're not apologising for any wrongdoing that they have done. They're saying that the private investigators, that it was on them, the private investigators that were employed by the Sun. So not necessarily the journalists, it's not the Sun journalists, it's the private investigators that apparently could have been involved in all of this. And so they are apologising for that and the intrusion into Princess Diana. Which, okay, fair enough. But the fact is that Harry has done all of this song and dance to get to this point where he just at the last hour, when it's about to go to court, decides to settle. So it's one of two reasons, I think. Either, and in all fairness, I don't actually see this as a win. Not really. Because if you are wanting the truth to come out, if you are wanting things to be exposed, you'd go to court. If you were not in it for the money, generally speaking, if it was not really about the money, it was about the principle of the thing, I believe you would, unless you absolutely have the outcome that you really wanted. And I don't believe this was the outcome that Harry wanted, because his response seems to be quite angry. I don't think he feels vindicated. I think what's happened is that he's been offered some money, and I think he's getting desperate for money. I really do think there's part of it. I think he's getting desperate for money. And so he has decided to settle also because I think that things were going to come out. Now, okay, if it was just about Harry, then I would also say and they genuinely thought that there was no wrongdoing, then there's possibly that they would have taken this to court. But this is also a financial hit if they do go to court. Now, the Murdoch, that they've paid out, apparently there's been other claimants, and so they have paid out over $1 billion, I think, in total so far of costs. And to have this drawn out for potentially another year, this could have cost them millions, and maybe even getting to $1 billion, I don't know. But this would have been a horrendous amount of money. So what they've probably done is that they've weighed up and thought, you know what, if this gets stretched out, we're not 100% sure we will win. because we just don't know. And I think that unfortunately that is the case today. I think you can even have facts laid out in front of you, but it still doesn't mean that you might win. I don't, I think that depends on the day of the week and what judge you get. And so I think that they probably weighed up their costs and they thought, you know what, this is actually going to cost us X amount if we do this. Let's offer a settlement and let's hope he takes it. And let's just offer an apology. Let's just do that. And I think because Harry's desperate for money, what I would say it's probably in the millions. And I think that it's enough for Harry to be persuaded because he's getting desperate for money, in my opinion. They've got nothing really coming in. Their donations are drying up. They don't have anything work-wise. Everything they do just turns to dust. It doesn't turn to gold. They've got nothing coming in really from the royal family. I know that some people still think that they're being provided for by the royal family, but I genuinely don't. Their behaviour doesn't show that they're getting something from the royal family, because if that was the case, then they probably would be playing ball because they would not want that money to dry up. Harry's anger, Meghan's anger, in my opinion, are kind of showing that they're actually getting nothing from the royal family. And this is where Harry's anger is. It's like he's having to pay out for security, which is probably costing him so much money wherever he's living, because it's not in that mansion, but wherever he's living, he's also probably got to provide for Meghan, because even though I don't believe they're together, he's still going to have to provide for her because he's still married to her. So I truly believe that there's that as well. Plus the fact there's also possibly maintenance involved when it comes to Archie. But like I say, I don't believe that Archie is in America with them. I think Archie is over here in the UK, but he's probably got to contribute to that as well. So there's lots of factors why the lifestyle that they have, they need money for that. And I don't believe they have any. They might have a little bit coming in, but nothing to constitute what they need. And so I do think that Harry has been forced, in a sense, to settle because of the financial aspect of it. And also as well, because of the fact that he lost the last case, is it the last case he lost? He's probably a little bit nervous that he's not quite sure how this is going to go. And I also think as well, he's been humiliated. Like I say, that there's the article coming out where he's gone, well, no, there's no actual proof, but it must have happened because they know things. It doesn't occur to him that potentially that people could have leaked that information, even though he's blamed the palace as well for that. As it's like he's blamed everybody but himself. And even later on blamed everybody other than Meghan, because I do believe Meghan was leaking things to, in a sense, make it seem that the royal family were doing stuff. So I think all of this is going on, and I do think all of this is, like I say, is about money, because this is a man who was literally like, I'm not going to settle. I'm going to fight this to the end. I want the truth to come out. And then suddenly he's been offered an amount. He's gone, yeah, that'll do. I'll take that. I'll see that as a win. And I think that this was a move from them, the Rupert Murdoch, because it was going to cost them so much more to go to trial. But I also think they probably said to Harry, look, if you go to trial, because like I say, it was interesting to me that he went from, yeah, I'm fighting this, slaying dragons, to putting it back, delay, and then suddenly settled. Because I think something was going to come out, because I think that the newspaper was going to get to a point where they're going to be like, right, if you really want to do this, we're playing dirty, and we're going to start releasing things that maybe you don't want released. And I do think that was also part of it as well, because it's weird to me how he's gone from, yeah, I'm doing this, to I'm settling and it's all good. Something doesn't add up there. And so no, I don't think this is a win. I don't necessarily think it's a win for either of them. At the end of the day, Rupert Murdoch they're going to have to pay out some money, and at the end of the day, Harry gets money. But I don't know if it's going to be really that worthwhile for him, because he's not really been vindicated, even though the cult squad, which is ironic, right? Because the cult squad, who change their narrative whenever it suits them. Honestly, it's like the royal family can do something and they will get slammed by the cult squad for doing it. Prince William settling was awful. Good on Harry for fighting. He wants the truth to come out. But now Harry is settled. Good on Harry. Good on Harry for settling. Well done, Harry. See, he's been vindicated. And it's like, do you not really see the irony in your statement here? It's, you know, they honestly are the most delusional fan base I've ever come across. And the fact that they are literally bypassing the fact that they slated Prince William for settling, commended Harry for fighting, and now Harry's given in and he's settled. They're just like, yay, well done, Harry. It's like, hey, you honestly couldn't make it up if you tried. The most delusional, idiotic, unhinged fan base I've ever come across. And I think that's even putting that mildly. So yeah, I just, yeah, but you know, I mean, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I mean, I'm sure there might be something more about this court case, because the one thing I will say is sometimes I really do struggle to find information. I would love to know where, you know, there are like super sleuths on YouTube that I think the Royal Grift is definitely one of them, that really do get some really great information. And I don't go and watch the channels purely and simply because it's not that I don't want to support them, but firstly, when I come up with something, I want to come at it from my perspective and I don't want to be influenced by somebody else. It's lovely if then I see them after the fact and I go, oh yeah, you know, they've aligned with my way of thinking, and that's really nice. But also as well, because a lot of them, you know, unless I specifically am looking for it and I see it, in which case I will give them credit. But a lot of them, they find information and I don't want it to kind of seem like I've got that information when they are the ones that have found it. But if there is something, I will always give credit for that. But I would love to know, like when I see some of these people on Instagram, even there's a couple on Instagram that I do follow, because obviously it comes up on my feed. And some of the things that they information they get, I'm like, where did you find that? I think a lot of it might come from Twitter, and because I'm not on there, I don't always see it. And I do and ah sometimes about whether to go back, because there does seem to be so much information on Twitter. And I do get some things from TikTok as well, but I hate Twitter. I mean, like I've said to you guys before, I haven't been on since 2021, and I it's such a cesspool for me. That and I think I almost feel triggered a little bit by it, that I have almost like this nervousness of going back there in case the people that were responsible who are responsible for the trolling, and they're not the cult squad, they are Megxit accounts, a lot of them, whether they're going to get wind of that and then it's all going to start up again. Because as much as I know that some people go, well, just ignore them, it's not relevant. But it is, because when you're getting your address put up online, which I've had, you know, there's been some horrendous things said about me, that I've nearly unalived somebody, that I'm responsible for stalking, I'm responsible for this, which is just absolutely unbelievable. And then that's put online along with my actual address. So my address has been Google mapped. For that to happen, someone has to know my private address, and there is only one person that knows my private address. Make of that what you will. So that has been spread, and I've seen it because I've been sent screenshots of this being sent to me, and it's been put out there. Yes, things are being done, but this is what makes me nervous about on Instagram. It's controlled to a point. So I am on Instagram, so if you guys want to come across to Instagram, my handle is this one here, so I'll put that up so you can see the picture of that. I'm also on TikTok as well. I know some of you don't like TikTok, but for me it's just a place to get information, and also to put my videos out and hopefully draw traffic to the YouTube channel, to to get things out there. And that's, apart from Rumble, I'm on Rumble as well, but to be fair, I don't really go across there. I keep forgetting that I'm on Rumble actually, even though I do mention it, because it's the same video as here, and there's not that many people over on Rumble, so I focus here. But yeah, so I think that Twitter is just and that is, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that when I do the next video, which is going to be about Harry and Meghan's outrage with Meta. It's more like the same sort of topic, so yeah, I will talk about that more there. But let me know, like I say, what you think in the comments in regards to Harry's court case. What do you really feel this was about? Was it always going to be about the money? Do you think this was always about him being upset that his brother got more money than him? Or is there something that I've completely missed, which is also equally possible? Yeah. So thank you so much, as always, for your support. Don't forget to please subscribe if you haven't already, so you do not miss future uploads. And don't forget to like the video also as well, because that does help the algorithm and tells YouTube that I'm a channel worth keeping. If you want to, you can also treat me to a cuppa, and you can also go onto my Amazon wish list. Again, this is not essential. It doesn't take away from what I do here. This is just for those people that have messaged me and said, can I get you something to support, or can I treat you to a cuppa? Where's the link? It's all going to be in the description box below. It's also in my bio, and I do believe that there are some icons, is it above the subscribe button, which is the buy me a coffee, and I think Instagram is there as well. So you can click on those, and that takes you straight to my pages. Now, the bite-sized tea, people have been emailing me saying, can't find it. Right, so if you go across to the end of this video, you will see a circle, and you click on that circle, it will take you straight to the channel where you can subscribe. Also, remember that when you write it in the search bar, if you're trying to find it, it's all one word. So it's bite-sized tea, all one word, but capital B, capital T. And again, I will put that up here. So that is for those of you who have not been able to find it by searching for it. I do appreciate that sometimes, I don't know why YouTube is a bit weird, like when you try and search for my channel, it doesn't come up. Even I've tried searching for it on my bite-sized tea channel, and I couldn't find it, which is weird. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe I've been shadow banned again. Well, you know, it's been a minute, so I've missed being there. I'm also nearly up to 80,000 subscribers, so thank you so much everyone who has been joining, and I'm very excited. 20,000 away from my 100,000 subscriber plaque. So excited, can't wait. I'm sad, but I can't. This has been a long time coming. As most of you know, stuck with me from the beginning. This has been a tough slog in getting here, getting through a lot of the drama that has been also going on. So thank you so much for those of you who stuck with me from the beginning, joined halfway, joined recently, and you're sticking around. I really do love you all. So that being said, I hope to see you in the next video. And as always, look after yourself. I love you, I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. Take care. Bye-bye.